A few months back, I made a video titled, "The Kings Suck," and the reaction to this was, let's say mixed. Alright, some people thought the video was okay. Some people thought that I should never speak about basketball again and go crawl in a hole and die. And you know what? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. And, it's okay that some people just aren't as smart when it comes to basketball as I am. That's just how the world works. But, even though I have not fully rescinded my opinion of the Sacramento Kings, they have outperformed my expectations this season, and that is specifically because of one player. Well, really two. If I'm being honest here, there are two players, and we'll talk a little bit about the other one, but there was one player especially on the Kings who should have been an all-star this year, in all honesty, absolutely played at the level of an all-star, and is really just one of the most underrated players in the NBA right now, and that is De'Aaron Fox. Fox is a beast. So I want to talk about him today. Just give the man some credit, because even though it does seem like people on NBA YouTube, like I've seen a couple other YouTubers talk about how De'Aaron Fox is underrated, but I feel like fans in general do kind of forget about him, and I believe the main reason why is just the fact that, well, there's two reasons. A, he plays on the Kings, and like I've said before, the Kings are not that good. Alright, they're currently 11th in the Western Conference, and to be fair, 11th in the West is only 3.5 games out of 7th in the West, in the brutal Western Conference playoff race. They do have a small chance to get into the playoffs at this point, especially with Fox playing even better than usual after the All-Star break. However, 11th place is 11th place. It's not the kind of place that gets you a whole lot of media coverage unless you're a team that was supposed to be doing really, really well. And the other reason is that De'Aaron Fox is a point guard, and the point guard position is ridiculously stacked in the NBA today. Guards in general are stacked, and hell, I'm willing to say that the NBA in general is stacked with talent. Alright, I seriously think they need to add 2 extra roster spots to the All-Star game, because it is ridiculous how much talent is in the league, but more of that talent is in the point guard area than any other. You look at the All-Stars who didn't make it this year, some of the biggest names were Ja Morant, De'Aaron Fox, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I definitely just butchered his name. I'm not sure why. Shai Gilgeous... Why am I saying Gilgeous? Oh my goodness. SGA. Okay, you know who I'm talking about. The guy on the Thunder, he's a beast. A little bit of debate whether he's actually a point guard or not, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, there's a lot of young guards in the league who are phenomenal. Trae Young is another one who didn't even make the game. And De'Aaron Fox just kind of gets lost in the mix. But I wanted to give this man some credit, so I'm going to talk about the Kings again. And I promise, Kings fans, in case any of you still hate me from my last Kings video, I'm not going to be as negative this time. So looking at the Kings overall, like I said, 11th in the West, they're currently the 10th best offense in the NBA, which is very impressive considering, while they do have some solid offensive players, they're not exactly overflowing with offensive talent, and we're going to go over the team as a whole here, alright? However, their defense is not good, and by not good, I mean it's really bad, and by really bad, I mean it's really bad. 30th in the league, 118.4 defensive rating, which is terrible. Legitimately, this team, they're the worst defense in the NBA, and I blame a lot of that on Luke Walton, who is a bad coach, and especially a bad defensive coach, but also some of it's on the players, and I'm going to criticize Fox here. He's not a good defender. He's just not. The dude is a small guard. He's not strong. He's not especially, intelligent on defense. Not that he's like a dumb defender or an absolutely horrible defender. He's not quite Isaiah Thomas or JJ Redick. But the man's just not a good defender, alright? He's small. He gets pushed around a lot. He's not switchable. And for a dude who's maybe the fastest player in the entire NBA right now, he's really not the greatest at keeping up with people on the perimeter either, so he does deserve some of the blame. Outside of Fox, you got players like Buddy Hield, Rashawn Holmes, Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton's actually solid on defense. Not great or anything, but for a rookie guard, I'd say he's about average. Like, I'm willing to call him an average defender. But Marvin Bagley is another one. Alright, there's a lot of just bad defenders on this team. Bajaka, when he was on the team, was bad. This team does not have defensive talent by any means, but they should not be dead last in the NBA, and my goodness, just fire Luke Walton already. I don't know why you ever hired him. He's such a bad coach. Might be the worst coach in the NBA right now with Brett Brown and Steve Boylan gone. Like, my goodness. Absolutely terrible coach. Please get him out of here. We're not here to complain about him and how bad he is. Kings defense is bad, you all know it. On offense, however, De'Aaron Fox is carrying. You look at the offensive talent around him, and you've got guys like Buddy Hield, who's a solid shooter, still 38% from 3 this season, but only shoots 40% from the field overall, doesn't add anything on defense. Harrison Barnes, having a real rebound season, and I really expected the Kings to trade him, and he has been very good, 49% from the field, 35% from 3, 16 points a game with 4 assists. Very solid overall season, but still not necessarily the guy you want to be your second best offensive player, and arguably their second best player in general, although I might be willing to give that title to Tyrese Halliburton. Y'all, I really wanted to make a full video about Halliburton, but I feel like so many people have already made all these Rookie of the Year ranking videos that it just wouldn't make sense to bother. But man, I just gotta take a minute and tell you, Tyrese Halliburton is a beast. He might end up being the best player in this draft. 20 years old, rookie, okay? 20-year-old rookie. 13 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and a block. Only 1.6 turnovers, which is very nice for a young guard, and he's shooting 49% from the field, 43% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. This kid is a straight bucket. Okay, I really believe he should be leading the Rookie of the Year race. Unfortunately, Anthony Edwards, now don't get me wrong, Anthony Edwards is good too, but he scores more points, and points are all people really care about. But if you're looking at an overall player, Tyrese Halliburton might end up being better than LaMelo Ball. In a couple years, he might be the best player in this draft, and I think he should be leading the Rookie of the Year race right now. Hella underrated player. I can't wait to see this team get a good coach and start Tyrese and De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt. It's going to be bad defensively, don't get me wrong, but whoo, that offense is going to be sexy. And the other, big important players on this team, Richaun Holmes, Marvin Bagley. Bagley's a weird player. He's kind of having a good season, 14 points on 50% shooting with 7 rebounds, but he's just a weird fit on any team. He's a center-sized player who isn't really big and strong enough to play like a center. He doesn't really have the skills to play in the post, but he also can't play like a guard, like a type of Kristaps Porzingis type. He doesn't have anywhere near the shooting. Just a very weird player on any team, and I think they just need to trade him. Meanwhile, Richaun Holmes, he's having a nice season, but the guy's not a great defensive player, and on offense, he's a rim-running big. It's nice to have, he's a real nice player to have, but he's a rim-running big. He doesn't give you anything outside the paint except the occasional mid-range jump shot, which he's decent at, but he doesn't give you much else. He can't dribble, he can't play make, etc. All this is to say, De'Aaron Fox is kinda carrying this team. 25 points, 7 assists, a steal, 3 rebounds, 49% from the field, and 70% from the free throw line on 7 attempts a game. Now that's a number that needs to go up, same with his 3-point percentage, but I do think he will get at least marginally better, specifically at the 3-pointers, with time, and he really doesn't need it yet, because he's still only 23 years old. This dude is fan-frickin-tastic. I love watching him play. He's just such an entertaining player. Very much, as a Sixers fan, I liken him to Tyrese Maxey. I'd say Tyrese is like a way less polished version of De'Aaron Fox, I think is a fair comparison. Not an insult to De'Aaron Fox, because I really like Tyrese Maxey, alright? If you hadn't seen that dude play, woo, he's nice. De'Aaron Fox is a beast, though. He really should have been an all-star this season. He's by far the best player on this team that still has a chance to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. And he's also playing with a coach who does not play to his strengths. Luke Walton does not like to run a real fast-paced offense. Alright, this team is currently, let me see what their pace is, they're 11th, which is actually a lot better than I expected. I think last year they were at the bottom of the league in pace. That's probably helped their offense a lot, but still. You've got De'Aaron Fox on the team, Tyrese Halliburton, and Buddy Hield who can pull up from anywhere. Along with Richaun Holmes, who's a rim-running big man, this team should be top 3 in pace. Honestly, I fully believe they should be top 3 in pace. They're super young and a bunch of players who would play well in that setting. Fire Luke Walton, please. So, it took me a long time to actually talk about De'Aaron Fox, but man, this kid is a baller. Okay? He is great. He's going to be an all-star next year. I'm calling it now. I know the guards are stacked, and the West is stacked, but I really think this kid's going to be an all-star. And if you don't believe me based off the stats I gave you, you need to look at his stats since the all-star break when he missed it. He's now averaging 30 points a game on even better efficiency and the same amount of assists. The kid is killing it. I cannot wait to keep watching his career. He's really, really good. And y'all just need to pay more attention to De'Aaron Fox if you weren't already. That's all I really needed to say in this video, okay? The Kings, it's weird to say it. I'm going back on what I used to say, but they kind of have a bright future with the backcourt of De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. You know, obviously the front office needs to get their heads out of their butts. They need to get a good defensive center in the middle. They need to trade Bagley for something. Probably need to trade Harrison Barnes for something too, and Buddy Hield. But man, with these two young guys as their backcourt of the future, the Kings might be really freaking good in a few years with two all-star backcourt players. And unless they really fuck it up somehow, which is possible because they still have, you know, one of the worst front offices in the league. They're kind of known for screwing it up somehow. But unless they do, this team's floor in a few years from now, like 3 or 4 years from now, is basically what the Blazers are now. Not quite contenders, but man, are they an entertaining team to watch with their all-star level guard duo. Thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed.